YouTube, it's Gypsy. Something kind of really super sad happened yesterday, and I've been thinking about it all day. And I decided that I wanted to post a vlog real quick just to kind of get some feedback from you guys out there. And it has to do with children and death. We all raise our kids differently. We all have our own perspective about things. And I guess, what happened recently was Monday night, late Monday night, I believe, a little boy in my first grade, in my 7-year-old's first grade class, passed away. He had been fighting cancer, and the whole school, really kind of the whole town I live in, kind of rallied around this family, and they sold t-shirts at the school to help raise money to help the family. They wore their shirts on certain days and took pictures and would send them to this little boy at the hospital to show him that we were supporting him. It was a really cool show of solidarity, I guess you could say, in our community. And it was really, I'm going to try not to get emotional while I'm talking about this, because all I can think about is, like, if it was my kid, how I would feel, and it just totally, like, eats my lunch. Every time I talk about it, I get goosebumps and I get all so I'm wearing my sunglasses so you can't see me get stupid. Anyway, he passed away Monday night. He was not in my daughter's class, but she knew him, and he was in her grade. And she had sweet things to say about him. Obviously, she was very sad about it. His older sister is actually in my middle daughter's class, or grade. And actually yesterday was her birthday. So for her birthday, she was having to deal with the fact that her little brother had passed away. And, the girls and I talked about it, and they seemed to be, reasonably okay. I mean, I don't feel like anybody needs any special counseling other than our conversations between the two of us, so thankfully they're coping fine. They have experienced death of people that they knew or that they, were familiar with, so it wasn't completely knocking them off their little system of, the way they look at things and look at life. But the fact that it was one of their peers, the fact that it was someone that they saw at school that was another child and it was not an adult, that was new and that was different. And, I know that it's always odd. I remember I lost people whenever I was in high school that were my age, and I've experienced going through losing several of my peers as I've gotten older. We don't all make it, through young adulthood. That's why you got to be so thankful for every moment. But that's something that I've kind of come to. I don't remember ever losing a classmate in elementary school, though. I do not remember having to ever deal with that. So that part of it, I can't really empathize with them. But like I said, they seem to be doing okay. But our view of death and dying, I don't focus a lot on heaven. Obviously, I'm not a Christian, and so I do not believe in the heaven of the Bible. Do I believe in an afterlife? I have to. I mean, I know that there's something after this. I know there is. But I'm not going to sit here and try to define it, and I'm not going to give my children a, fantasy of Care-a-Lot, when there's not one, or I don't believe that there's one. I'm not going to, to perpetuate that. So I guess I'm just curious, what do other pagan parents out there tell your kids? What are y'all's? I mean, I know that there's, the belief in Summerland. I mean, I know that there's different perspectives. I'm not really familiar with all of them. I do know that we don't just, our bodies rot away and our souls move on. After that, I really don't know. And I don't feel like knowing makes me feel any better or any worse about dying. I see life as a snapshot, piece of the eternal soul. And I do believe that, take with us the energies that we focus on here on Earth? Do we get to actually take our memories? I don't know. I don't know that we do. I'm not sure if that makes sense to me or not. But I do believe that you do take your positive or you take your negative. And in that regard, that to me is your heaven or your hell. Again, I don't really focus a lot on afterlife. I don't. It's one of those things, it's kind of like it'll work itself out. You know what I mean? It's either there or it isn't, and it's going to do what it's going to do. And all I can do right now is live my life to the fullest and appreciate every gift that I'm given. And I see my 3 children as being the 3 greatest gifts I'll ever have in my life. They're the 3 most important people to me. And I just, I am thankful in a way that I have no idea what that mother's going through. But at the same time, as a mother, I can't help but get that sick feeling in my gut whenever I think about anything happening to one of my kids. It's like, ugh. It's really, really hard to talk about. And again, when I'm with my kids, I don't get this emotional. I get in mommy mode, and I'm, yes, well, blah, 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 and I'm very cool, but, man, there's just me and a phone in a car talking about this poor 7-year-old that it just seems like he got a raw deal. It's his 5th time to deal with cancer, and it's almost kind of bittersweet. It's like, it's almost kind of like, God, no kid should have to go through that, Thank goodness he didn't have a 6th time. I don't know how else to look at it without just totally being completely bummed out. At least his suffering is over. It's just so sad that he didn't get to have the life that my 7-year-old has had. It's kind of those things where it's like, I guess that's where life isn't fair, but that just doesn't make me feel any better. Anyway, yeah, so what do you say to your kids? For those of you out there that are of the pagan persuasion, what do you tell them? What are y'all's, is it something that you talk about? Is it something that you avoid? If you don't talk about it with them, why? If you do talk about it with them, why? I've kind of given you my overview. Why do I talk to my kids about it? Why am I open about it? I do not hide death from them. I do not shield them from it. I feel like it's one of those things that's part of life, and the quicker you get used to it and the more you appreciate your time now, the better off you are and the better your life will be for it. So that's my little bit about that. That's it. Feedback is much appreciated. Video responses would be awesome. Whatever. You guys have a great rest of your week. Happy hump day, and blessed be.